Daf Nun Ches Amud Aleph will begin Nun Zayin Amud Beis, 3 lines from the bottom, continue on with the brachos that one says when he sees the different areas of destruction in Bavel. And the last one that we mentioned was when he sees a place where they remove the offer, the earth from Bavel. Animals were not able to leave that place unless they remove some of the earth from Bavel. It's a sign of Bavel's destruction. Rava, when he would see an animal carrying the earth on its back, he gave it a slap on the back. He said, run tzaddikim to do the bidding, the will of your master. When he came to Bavel, he would take some of the earth and put it in his turban and throw it outside. That the Navi says that Rabbi Hashem says, I'll sweep Bavel, I'll sweep it with the broom of destruction, meaning to remove it, to sweep it clean is a sign of destruction of Bavel. He said, I didn't hear what Rav Hamnuna taught about saying these brachas, but on my own, I said these brachas on myself, with my own sword. Bavel's destruction, it had shpa, and it influenced the surrounding areas, and they were also affected and inflicted with this destruction. But the Shaiman, the Sheres Shvatim, when they were cursed, but the neighbors were blessed, were benched, after its destruction. Where do we see that? The pasuk says, "Samtia l'mayers kipod v'agmei mayim." Bavel will become a place where wild birds will fly, and there'll be pools of water. So this has an influence on the neighboring areas because it's wild, there's wilderness, and it's waste. It's an area of where it's desolate, and the surrounding areas also were therefore affected by the wasteland of Bavel. Now, where do we see that? It says, so the Shaiman will be destroyed, the cities will be destroyed, but there will be plantings over there. There'll be grapevines over there. So the area will be an area of planting, of soil that's fit and suitable for planting, as opposed to Bavel, where it's a wasteland. Here, it became an area for planting, which therefore is Baruchu, which is a bracha for the surrounding areas. He says, continuing on with different brachas that we say, if you see a multitude of Chachamim, Achloisi Yisrael, multitude of Yisrael, he says, Baruch Chacham Arazim. So if you see, but the Meforshim say 600,000, Shishim Riboy, you say, Baruch Chacham Arazim. The Rebbeinu Shalom knows 600 people, that's a Sach HaKol, the sum total of Klal Yisrael. He knows the thoughts of all the different thoughts and machshavas that people have. Chacham Arazim is the Chacham, Kadosh Baruch Hu knows the secrets. But if he sees a Chlusei, if he sees the multitudes of Avdei Zorah, he says, Bushe Imchem, that the Bushe Imchem, your mother is embarrassed from you. Ton Rabbanon, Haroyach Chlusei Yisrael Omer Baruch Chacham Arazim, as we said. Why is that? What was so significant about that? You see, the multitudes of Yisrael, it's Chacham of the secrets. Because you have Shishim Riboy, everybody has a different way of thinking. Each person, their minds are not similar one to the other. They look the same, their faces are different. He saw an achlusa multitude by Harabayis. Omar Baruch Chacham Arazim. He said the Baruch Chacham Arazim. Ubaruch Shabarak Kol Elu Hashem Sheni. And Baruch Hashem that created all of these people to serve me. What's pshat? They weren't all his servants, but all the people, they engage in their different activities. So, for instance, he buys a loaf of bread. How many people went to work and were engaged in different activities so that he can have ready for him this loaf of bread? or whatever the case is, clothing, as we'll see. Hu Yomer, Kami Yagias Yaga Adam Arishan, Achimotzapas Lachel. Adam Rishon had nobody to help him. Till he was able to have pas, bread to eat. How much work did he have to do? Choresh, v'zor, v'kotzer. He had to plow, he had to plant, he had to harvest, v'imer, v'dosh. He gathered together and he threshed it, v'zora, v'bora, obirer, and he was winnowed and he was separated, the chaff from the grain. B'tachan v'hirchig, hirkid, and he ground it up and he sifted it. V'losh v'afa, and he kneaded the flour and he baked the bread. After all of those activities which he had to do himself, he was able to eat. And I get up and I have it all prepared, it's all ready for me. And similarly, how much did he have to work till he found clothing to wear? He had to shear the wool from the sheep, and he had to bleach it, and he had to separate it from all the tangles. Tovav arag, and he had to spin it into thread, and he had to weave it into wool, into a fabric. And after all of those activities, and after all, finally, when he was able to weave it into a baguette, he had clothing to wear. And I have it already prepared for me. I don't have to do any of the shearing. I don't have to do any of the spinning, and it's all prepared for me. All the nations come, and they come to my doorstep. And they come to the doorstep, so all of the nations, another girsa is called umnis, all the trades, everybody, all these people from all over are engaged in all these activities, and I have everything I need ready there for me. A different memory that he said, a good guest, what does he say? The Balabayas, he prepared all this for me. Look how much he did for me to serve me and prepare for me. Kama basar heavy lefane, he brought so much meat in front of before me. Kama yain heavy lefane, kama gluskois heavy lefane. He brought the wine, he brought the roll, the bread, the rolls before me. V'kol mashetorach le'torach holish b'shili. And all this that he did it for me. So what a wonderful host that he is. But what does a bad guest say? So what does he say? What's the big deal? What did he do for me anyway? How much did I eat already? I ate a little bit of bread, one roll, one piece, I drank 1 cup. He did a lot of effort. He did for his family. It was a minimal thing. That's a bad guess. On a good guess, what does he say? That you'll see on the good guess, it says, look at all that the work that was done, that you see, that people see. Meaning, you're mispointed and you see all of the things, the amazing things that he did. Therefore, it says the pasuk, the people will fear Rabbeinu Shalom. But according to Rabbeinu Shalom, sees the people, and what's the significance of these people in the eyes of Rabbeinu Shalom? So, to a bad guess, he looks at his host and says, "What's the significance? What's the significance of what he did for me?" Coming back to talking about Ochlusia and gatherings, so the pasuk says, "L'gabei Yishai," the father of Dovid HaMelech, Va'ish b'mei shol zokin ba b'anoshim. So there was an elderly person that came with a crowd, with a multitude of people. Amarav v'teimarav zvid v'teimarav Aishia, Zayishai avi Dovid, sheyatza b'achlusa v'nechlas b'achlusa v'dorsh b'achlusa. He was so chashuv, Yishai avi Dovid, that he used to travel. There was crowds of people coming with him and going with him, and he used to darshan in front of crowds of people. When we see the achlusa, the bracha that we make, but he says it's not in Bavel. It's in Eretz Yisrael, but it's not in Bavel. And what is the size? How do we define achlusa? It's not less than shishim riba 600,000. Ton Rabbanan Roya Chacham Yisrael Oimer. If he says Chacham Yisrael says Baruch Shecholak Mechachmos Yireach. So the gears that we have is that we praise Hashem that he took from his Chacham and he gave it to those who fear him. He uses the lotion of Cholak. The Ram doesn't have that gear, so he is Nosan. Here it says Cholak, which is someone that is, he gave a Chelak, meaning he divided it. It's referring to someone that is closer to him. But when he sees Chachmei Avidichom, he says, Baruch Shenosan Mechachmos al Briyosa. Now the erase of Libriyosa to his creatures, the one he created. Haroy Malcha Yisrael Omer Baruch Shechalak Mikvoid Lerev. He machalik from his covet, he gave it to those who fear him. Malcha Avidichom, but if he sees Goyish King's Malcha Avidichom, he says Baruch Shenosan Mikvoid Lebriyosa. He says Libriyosa. And here also we have this Cholak and Nasan. Amar Yaichen Lo'oil Mishtal Adam Lorutz Likras Malcha Yisrael. A person should always be mishtal to try to run and to Likras Malcha Yisrael, to see the kings of Israel, of Yisrael, to see that covered. V'loy Likras Malcha Yisrael Bilvad, and not only to Malcha Yisrael, afil Likras Malcha Avdikachom, even to Avdikachom. Why Sheim Yizke Yavchim Ben Malcha Yisrael Malcha Avdikachom? Because if Yisrael see lost in Lovay, the greater cover that is given, the difference between them, and when Mashiach comes, that the difference between the cover that is given to Yisrael and to Avyakachovim. So see the cover of Mashiach, he'll see that chiluk in the cover that Mashiach has, the Malcha Yisrael, Melech Yisrael, more than all of the cover that was there that existed. Rosh Hashanah, continuing on with the Malchi, the Malachim, the covet given to Malachim. Rosh Hashanah, he was blind. Everyone went to greet the king. And he also went to greet the king. A certain Stuki encountered him. He said that a pitcher goes to the Nar, but a broken one is, where does a broken one go? A pitcher goes to the river to fill it up, but a broken pitcher, what's a broken pitcher going for? It can't hold the water anyway. Meaning, you can't see anyway. So what are you going to see? You're going to see the cover that they're giving to the king? You can't see anyway. Amr Lahem Rav Shesha said to Amr Leh, he said, you come and see, you'll see that I know better than you. I know more than you and about the covet of the king. So the first group of the troops came passing by. Kiko Avsha, when there was a loud shout and loud noise. Amr Lahu Tzeduki, the Tzuki says, Asamalka, he heard all the commotion, so he said the king is coming. Amr Rav Shesha says, like us, Rav Shesha, no, he's not coming now. The second group came when there was a loud shout and a loud noise. Again, the guy said, that Stuki rather said, he said, the king is coming. He says, Rav says, no, he's not coming now. The third group came, it was quiet. He said, now the king is coming. How did you know this? It says, because the Malchus and Aretz on the land is Doime, has a similarity to the Malchus and Rekia. To the Malchus, it's Malchus, so it has a similarity of the Malchus of Rebbein Shalem. Hashem is passing. So that's the Malchus of the Shemaiah. And the wind comes and it's breaking the mountains and the rocks. Before Hashem, but Hashem does not appear with the Ruach. And after the Ruach, there is a rash, there's a loud noise. After the Ruach, there's a loud noise, there's an earthquake. So, and after the Ruach is the Rash and Loi B'Rash Hashem. V'achar Rash, there's Eish and Loi B'Eish Hashem. So, Hashem is not with the Rash, he's not with the H, Achar H, called the Mamadaka, then becomes a still thin sound, and then that's when the Rebbeinu Shalom comes. Here also, in the Malchus, the Ara, the king doesn't come with the Rash. After the Rash, there is a quiet, it's called Mamadaka, then the king arrives. Kiyasa Malka, when the king came, Pasach Rosh Hashanah come a Varchla. He gave a bracha. So you're giving a bracha to one you don't see, or you can't even see him. Again, he was making fun of it. You're making a bracha. What was the end of that Saduki? Some say that his friends, they blinded his eye. Mida keneged mida. Vigadamar Rav Sheshes Nasan Eina Boy Venasan Gal Shalat Samas, that Rav Sheshes had put his eye on him, and he gave him an Einhora, and he became a pile of stones, a pile of bones. Rav Shila Nagde Lahu Gavra the Baal Mitzvahs. Rav Shila gave makas to a certain person that was mezana with Isha Mitzvahs, with a Mitzvahs. And so this person went and he was malshin on to the king, to the authorities, he was malshin on him. And Omar, he said, there's one of the Yehudim, one of the Yidden, the Kodain Dina Beloy Harmana de Malka, that he's judging and without getting authority from the king. So the king sent somebody to a shaliach to examine the matter. So they said, why did you give this person malchus? Because he was mzana with a donkey. He said, do you have a witness to this? So he said, he says, yes. Also, Eliyahu Navi appeared as a person, and he testified, he was made that that's what happened. So Amalei said, he said, if that's the case, he's chayiv misa. It's not only malchus, he's chayiv misa. From the time that we were exiled from Eretz Yisrael, we don't have any more authority, permission to carry out death penalties. You do what you fit in your eyes. So while they were examining this and examining the din, Pasuk Rabbi Shila V'Amar, he said, for you is Hashem, the greatness and the strength. Omri my comrade. So they asked him, what do you say? Omar lahu hachi kamina baruch rachmana deyav malchus abar ken malchus derakia. He says, Baruch Hashem, praise Hashem that He gives the malchus and the aretz ke'ain, similar to the malchus on Shemaim Rakia. V'yav l'chu shultona v'rach medina, and He gives people authorities who love justice and have mercy. So Marsha explains that he mentioned Rachmim because really the person wasn't Chayiv Misa, so he wanted to make a point to them that they're merciful so that they shouldn't kill him, because at that point he was not yet deserving of Misa. Amro, they said, they said, it's so to you, so chashuv, the covet of the king. So Yahavalo Kulfa, they said to the stick for the punishment should be in your hands. Amrulay, they said, Dun Dina, and you are the ones who carry out the din. When Rav Shila was going out, when he was leaving, Amrulay, how gav, this person said, he says, does the Rabbi Shalom make a nace? There's a nace that Eliyahu never appeared for someone who lies? Because he said that he was Mazana with a donkey. It's a lie. Amar Lei said, he said to Rasha, Lav Chamra Chami Ikru, aren't they called Chamari? Aren't they called donkeys? So it's not a lie. So we saw that this person was going to tell the authorities, that he called them donkeys. He said, now he's deserving of me. He said, hi, right of, he's a right of. He's threatening my life. If someone's coming to kill you, you go ahead and first and kill him. He hit him with the stick that they gave him, that the authorities gave him, and he killed him. Omer, so Rishila said, I said this pasuk, and Nace came about through this pasuk. Therefore, he said, Darshinalai, I'm going to darshan it. L'char Shem Agadula Zamaisa Bereshis. V'cheinu Omer, Oysa Gedoylas, Adein Cheker, that Rabbeinu Shalom does Gedoylas, Adein Cheker, so that's Maisa Bereshis. V'hagrua, the strength, that's it, Yis Mitzrayim, Shenemar, V'yar Yisrael Tziyara Gedoyla. V'hatiferes, that Chamo, Levana Shamdol Yeshua, the Nace that Hamti Yeshua, that the sun and the moon, it stood in the orbit. Shenemar vayidam hashemesh vayareach alman. Vahanetzach, the victorious, victory, zuma palosan shel Roimi, that's the downfall of Rome. V'cheinu oimer, vayez nitzcham al begodei, their lifebloods is spilled out on my clothing. Vahoid zuma chemes nachle arnan. The glory is the nays of Nachle Arnoin, which we learned earlier. Shenemar al Keni Amar B'Sefer Mechumis Hashem es Vayiv B'Sufa, the great miracle when Klal Yisrael were passing through and the Amoin was hiding in the caves and they got crushed. Kichol b'Shamayim Zumilchemes Sisra, that's the war with Sisra by time of Dvarim. Shenemar Min Hashamayim Nilchem Chomim Siloisam, the stars and their paths and their orbits, they even fought the war against Israel. So that's what we see, that the kingdom is the fight against Amalek, and the hand is on the throne of Hashem. That he's sovereign. Zu Melchemes Gog and Magog. That's what it says. Hineni Alecha Gog Nasi Roish Meshech V'Tubal. Achol Roish Amar Rav Chanan bar Rava Amar Rav Yochanan Afilu Roish Gargisa Mishmayim Manol Achol Roish. Any appointment, anyone who's a Roish, anyone who has any position of authority, that's appointed Mishamayim Manolo, that's appointed from the Rebbeinu Shalom. A different drash on the pasuk l'choshem megadula Zakrias Yamsuf. That's the native Yamsuf. Gevura zumakas b'chayres v'atiferes zumatan Torah v'hanetzach zu Yerushalayim v'hoin zu Beis Hamikdash.